Hey Floss Tube, welcome back. This is my 111th Floss Tube video, and I'm excited to share with you what I have been working on. But first of all, I want to welcome you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the things that I have to share with you. And if you are returning, thank you for coming back and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. I especially want to thank everyone for all of your wonderful comments on my last video. I had lots of comments about English Garden Sampler, and I really appreciate that. It was a really big project. It's very gratifying to see it finished. You can see I've replaced it with another project of mine. This is another project that I love. If you haven't seen it before, this is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. It is basically a collection of trees from different samplers, and that was really fun to stitch. Also, I finished it. I think it's been about 5 years ago that I finished that. It's been quite a while, but I always love seeing that and remembering stitching all the trees and remembering what my favorite trees were. Things have been going great here. Last video I said I thought I was going to be a little bit more consistent in making videos, and then it's just been crazy. I've had things almost every Saturday that have prevented me from making videos. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. I have quite a few projects to share with you, but not as much as before, because I ended up spending a couple of weeks on a couple of projects just because I didn't feel like I had really given them enough credit, enough attention to justify putting them away. But we'll talk about that later. The family everything's going well. We are really glad that fall has finally arrived to Arizona, and the temperature has dropped, and it just feels wonderful outside. It's that time of year. It's just a great time of year. Before we get started, I just want to respond to a couple of questions and comments that were left on my channel since the last time I filmed. So Jay wants to start a new sampler to be the first one, and asks, do I have any advice on where to start for stitching a sampler, or any ideas about a good pattern? And I don't know. I guess my biggest advice would be to find a sampler that you really like to stitch, something that really appeals to you. The reason why I say that is if it really appeals to you, then you'll be more willing to stitch it and stick with it till the end, because you'll be enjoying stitching it. A couple of places, I don't know. There's lots of samplers out there. If you're ambitious and you like her style, Teresa Wentzler has several samplers, and they are available on Patterns Online. You can also look at Hands Across the Sea has some beautiful samplers, and I have a lot of the samplers that she has released. I have on my list to do. I wouldn't worry too much about whether or not it's really complicated, because, well, if you really want to do it, you will learn the specialty stitches if you've never done specialty stitches before. So, and they're not really hard. They just take a little bit of practice and looking at diagrams to figure out how to stitch them. But yeah, my biggest piece of advice would be look around and see if you can find something that you like. Of course, you can always call the attic. Jean has all sorts of samplers, and that would be another resource to go to. Okay. Frida asked me if I'm still using my lock scroll frame, and no, I am not. I am using my Omanik frame. I find that I get better attention with my Omanik frame, and I'll pull out my lock scroll frame because it doesn't quite require the same amount of fabric for the margin at the top. So if I have a piece that I'm stitching that I don't have a lot of margin available to me to be able to roll around the scroll rods, I'll pull out my lock scroll frame. It's a good frame. I just get better results, better tension with my Omanik frame. And then Stitch Odyssey, with regards to English Garden Sampler, said, this must be what you would consider your masterpiece, and asked me if that is what I would consider to be my masterpiece. And it's right up there. I still think that Stroke of Midnight, which is also by Teresa Wentzler, is right up there. I think those two pieces are the two pieces that have been the most complicated and the most probably the most gratifying to actually finish. So I would put those two right up at the top as to be the ones that have required the most amount of work and that I probably like the most. Okay, so thank you for all of your questions. I would always love to hear from you, and would be glad to answer any questions that you have for me. Also, I have an announcement, and this has to do with part of the reason why I have been a little bit more inconsistent this year with regards to filming videos. I've been sharing with you my spreadsheet that I use to keep track of all of my stitching. And I don't know if you noticed, but the last time I showed graphs, those graphs were a little bit different from what I have shown in the past. And the reason for that is that I have always wanted to write an app or something that would be a little bit more controlled for my stitches. A spreadsheet is nice and it does a good job, but there are some things that I wanted to be able to do that I couldn't do with the spreadsheet. And so for the past I guess it's more like 8 months now, I started teaching myself iOS app development, and I have been developing an app with the same functionality that my spreadsheet has. And I have been using it and feel that it is ready that I can make it available to you. So there is a new app available in the iOS App Store called Cross Stitch Journal. You can look for this icon to see it, to find it. And basically it is the same kind of concept as my spreadsheet, just in an app. I have really enjoyed working on it, and I love the results. It has made it easier for me to keep track of my time when I am stitching, and it is just really nice because I always have my phone with me, and I can easily tell it that I've started stitching on a project, and then when I'm finished, I tell it I'm finished, and then enter the number of stitches that I have made. And I get I have some nice summary details and prediction of where I'm going with my project, and I really enjoy working with it. I have spent a lot of time going through different ideas with the user interface. When I started programming, there was no such thing as a graphical user interface, so I'm kind of old school back end type thing. I haven't really done anything like this before, so I've done a lot of permutations and have finally come up with something that I think that makes sense. So go ahead and check it out. You can download it. It will allow you to track up to 3 projects, just so you can get a feel for how it works. And I will probably be posting a video pretty soon to kind of walk you through everything you can do so you can get a feel for it. After those, if you want to track more than 3 projects, then you will need to make a purchase to unlock the app, and then you will be able to you'll be able to track unlimited projects. You will also be able to, if you've been using my spreadsheet, there is a way to import the data from the spreadsheet into the app so that you don't have to manually enter all that data. That would be a real pain. So there is a way to import the data from my spreadsheet into the app, and that is also available for you. It is very, very vanilla visually. I find that a lot of graphical elements kind of turn me off. I wanted to concentrate more on the functionality of the app than adding a bunch of visual bells and whistles. And I hope that if you have any problems with it, feel free to let me know. This is the first time I've ever released software that I'm only supporting out into production like this. And so I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that I found all the bugs. But if you find something that is a bug or something that annoys you that you think could be done better, I would love to hear your suggestions and see of ways that I can improve this app. So check it out. I hope that you will enjoy it. Okay, yeah, that's all for now. Let's talk a little bit about my stitching. So, let's do one other thing. I wanted to share this pattern with you. My wife has been saying all of the Christmas stuff that I do is Santa, and she wanted something more religious to hang up. And so I've been looking around, and I finally decided that I'm going to stitch this. I got this pattern. She really likes it. This is O Holy Night Nativity by Stony Creek. I plan on starting this sometime, and we'll see how that goes. It's pretty big, so it'll take me a while to stitch, and it's Stony Creek. Stony Creek is always pretty confetti heavy, so it'll be a lot of work, but I really look forward to stitching it. I've already got the fabric. I went into the attic looking for some light blue fabric, and I found they helped me find a light blue Belfast linen that I didn't even know existed. The color name is Plain Air. So I have my fabric and I have my floss, and sometime in the near future I'll be starting this for some Christmas stitching. Okay, let's talk about what I've been stitching. So as I said, I had some weeks where I was so busy that I was only able to stitch on a couple of projects for like 3 nights, and that just didn't feel like it did them justice. So I ended up spending 2 weeks on a couple of projects, and because of that, I don't have as many projects to show for 6 weeks of work, or maybe even 2 months. I'm not quite sure exactly how long it's been since I've filmed a video. So I have 4 projects to share with you. Let's see, 2 in progress. Start, because I started something. My birthday week was a couple of weeks ago, and I started something for my birthday. And then I also have my focus piece. So I have lots to, I'm excited to share this with you. The first piece, I think when I last talked to you, I said I was going to be doing this, maybe. But anyway, the first piece I want to show you is English Cottage Sampler. This is a design by Teresa Wentzler, and of course, as you know, there is a rule that you always have to be stitching a Teresa Wentzler. So this is my Teresa Wentzler right now. It is a piece that I have wanted to stitch ever since I started stitching, so it feels really good to be stitching it now. I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I'm stitching on 32 count Flax Belfast Linen, which I've decided I really like flax. It's a nice pale brown color, and it is really working with this design. So so the last time I was working on it, I started working on the swans, and basically I've been stitching swans, and this is what it looks like now. And you can see I've stitched a whole bunch of swans. I'm on the last, this is the last swan in this band, I guess you'd call it. So we're getting close. I really wanted to finish the swans, but it didn't happen. That'll happen next time. But I really like how they're turning out. And yeah, once I finish the swans and the bands and bring the sides up, then I'll be in the letters. And then things will really go fast, I think, because there'll be lots of space and just letters to stitch. So yeah, no, this has been really fun, and I am just amazed at the colors that are in here. You think that there'd just be white and gray, but there's all sorts of kind of purpley grays and greenish grays and bluish grays in these swans. There's a lot more colors than you would expect, and I think it really makes them look good. So yeah, this is English Cottage Sampler by Teresa Wentzler, and I really want to get up into here and get up to the cottage. So but yeah, I've really enjoyed working on this. Okay, my next piece that I pulled out is the Red House Sampler. I think I said that I wanted to finish this by the end of the year, and I am still on track to do that. This will be finished soon. So this is a design by Brenda Keys of the Sampler Company, and this was a start a couple of years ago as part of a stitch along. If you most people haven't been, but if you want to post your progress so that I can see your progress, you can use the BTL Red House Sampler hashtag, and I'll see it. And some people have finished it, and I've always enjoyed seeing your finishes. I've been a little bit slower, but I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. I think the last time you saw it, I had just finished the Red House. And so I'm on the home stretch. And I'm stitching on, this is 40 count platinum, no, 40 count Parchment from Weeks Dye Works. It's the Zweigart base. And this is what it looks like now. So I stitched, let's see, I've started bringing the border across the bottom. I got quite a few of these flowers stitched. And then I decided I needed to stitch the ground under the house so the house didn't look like it was going to fall over. And then I started working on this over here. So we've got a tree, a flower. I think this is a cat. We've got some birds and a heart that I stitched. And I think I stitched another one of these flowers coming down this way. So yeah, this is really close. All I need to do is I need to bring the border around, and there is another plant that comes up through here, and I need to finish the ground that comes this way. I haven't mentioned this before, but there's a big mistake. I stitched all of this green here and got over to the house and realized that the dark green I used was the wrong green. So this is darker, and I wasn't going to take it out. I was like, that's not worth taking it out for me. But that is darker, and the biggest thing I think that has done is it makes it really hard to see. These people over here, you can't see your shoes because the green's too dark. But I didn't fit. I continued using that same dark green all the way across, just because I didn't want to make it look strange by making it different. But yeah, that's the Red House sampler by the Sampler Company. And just to show you, I'll tell you what my app says, just a few statistics. The Red House sampler, I started it on January 1st, 2020. And I have stitched on it 55 days. It is 88.8% complete, and it says I have 8 days left to stitch. So about a week, maybe a little bit more than a week. So that looks pretty good. That's why I say it's going to be finished soon. And we'll talk about that in my plans. Okay. The other thing I have to share with you, we'll do my start now. So a couple of weeks ago was my birthday, and I decided I was going to do a start for my birthday. I haven't had very many starts all year. In fact, I'll show you my start graph right here. You can see I've had, I think this is my second start this year. And I was really starting to feel, my second start this year. And I was really starting to get startitis, partly because I've been working on my focus piece, and I've just had startitis, and so I decided a birthday's a good excuse to start something. And I went back and forth trying to decide what I was going to start, and then I decided I was going to do this. This is Hands Across the Sea Sampler, Memories of the Past. When Nicola released this is just beautiful to me. I love the colors in this. I love the purples and the lavenders. And it's a very bright sampler. And so yeah. Just to show you, I brought my colors down. I mean, just look how, if you can see, look how rich those colors are. There's not a color there that I don't like. And like these, I really love these, this dark blue. So yeah. And I am stitching this on, I ended up trying to find something that I really liked. This isn't what the original stitch or what the original model was stitched on. This fabric is called Prairie Grass. It's a fabric by Seraphim that I got from the attic, and I think it's just perfect for this. We put the colors on top of this fabric, and it was just like, yeah, this is it. So this is just a beautiful fabric. It's kind of got a little bit of, I don't know, I'm not very good at describing colors, but it's a little bit mottled, and it's just, I think it just works. So this is how much I've been able to stitch. This border is pretty intense. It takes quite a while to stitch one of these little flowers. So I've basically stitched the border that's on the first page. and started working on the interior. So I've got all of the capital letters on this page. I've got these little motifs that come down here and across. And I just need to, there's just a little bit more in here, and then we'll just move across. This is 46 count. Did I say that? This is 46 count. And I'm stitching with one strand. But yeah, look how, I think it just looks really great on this fabric. And the pictures I took just didn't do it justice. The pictures that I posted on Instagram just did not look as good as it does in real life. So I am looking forward to stitching more of this. I actually made a video a couple weeks ago, and then I started this, and I was having so much fun stitching this that I didn't want to spend the time editing my video. So yeah, I just really loved working on this, and I look forward to seeing how it's going to look. I usually find the middle and count out to the corner. I didn't do that in this case because it's 46 count, and I find that very difficult to do in 46 count. I know that this is more than enough fabric, so I'm just like about 4 inches in from the edges is where I started. So yeah, that's my birthday start, and hopefully I'll be able to stitch on it more soon. Okay, and that brings me to my focus piece. As you know, my focus piece, I've been stitching on this since March, I think, is Queen Anne's Lace. This is a design by Marilyn Levitt Emblem of Lavender and Lace. This is her Lavender and Lace label, I guess you would say. She had a couple of other labels too. And of course, it's kind of blowing out, but this is a picture of a lady in a yellow dress. I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I just barely finished stitching on it this week for my rotation this week. So I'm really happy with my progress. And I can tell that we are getting close to the end. Okay, so I'm stitching this on 32 count Dirty Belfast Linen. That's the called for linen. Stitching with the called for DMC, 2 strands. And there's also some Krynic metallic floss that I've got to come back in and fill in a whole bunch of holes. And lots of beads too. So you're going to see some empty areas. That is because there's beads that need to go there, and there's a lot of beads up around here. So this is what she looks like now. And as you can see, she is looking like a person instead of just a bodiless dress. It's taken a long time to get to this point, but here we are. So as you can see, I don't know how much I've stitched. I haven't looked at my pictures, so I don't know exactly how much I stitched since I last showed you this. But I think it's at least 3 or 4 diagonals. And I'm pretty sure that her face and shoulders, I'm pretty sure that hadn't been stitched when you saw her. So you can kind of see we've got, her hair is also starting to show up. I've also finished this arm, so it doesn't look like it's floating. It's now connected, and about the only thing left of her dress to stitch is the sleeve. I just have the sleeve to stitch. There's a little bit of blue left here to stitch, but this is the last of the blue. There's a little bit more of her sash to stitch also, so there's a little bit more blue up here. And like I say, these empty spaces here, there's beads all the way through here, and a little bit of metallic that needs to be put in. So you can see we've stitched this blossom that's right here. I think this looks kind of deceptive, but I think I've only got a couple more diagonals, and then she will be completely stitched. And all I will be stitching is green background, which I'm kind of dreading a little bit because it is really confetti heavy. But I'm hoping it won't last too long because I think it'll go pretty fast. Because my diagonals are also shrinking now, right? So you can see also I've hit the edge here. So all of this that sticks out beyond the edge is stitched. And so now it's just this that needs to be stitched. I've in order to kind of get myself going, I've kind of given myself a quota. When I stitch on this every night, I tell myself that I need to stitch 300 stitches. So I've been not necessarily forcing myself, but telling myself 300 stitches. And that has also made things go a lot faster. I was kind of getting bogged down in stitching only 100 stitches or 200 stitches, and that has helped speed her up. I want her finished. I think I said I was going to finish her before the end of the year, but I don't think she will be finished by the end of the year. There's still quite a bit to do. And even when I finish all the cross stitch, I've got to go back in and fill in. I haven't been filling in the krynic, so there's all this metallic that needs to be done in her dress. And of course, all the beads. I think there's probably 2 or 3 days worth of beading on her. Beading goes pretty quickly for me, so there's lots of beads, but I think that'll go pretty quickly. Give you a little bit closer look so you can see her. But yeah, this is Queen Anne's Lace by Lavender and Lace. And I'll just tell you what my app says, just so you know. Let's see here. So I started her on July 27th, 2019, so it's been over 3 years. And of those 3 years, I've stitched 109 days, so over 3 months. And it is now about 78% complete. And it says that I have 34 days left to stitch. I think it's going to be less than that because there are a lot of empty blocks that are not counted in that. And so things will go faster than that. But that still is quite a bit of time. And I don't know, 34 days is what, a month, 4 weeks? We've got 8 weeks, so maybe I might finish the stitching this by the end of the year, but she won't be completely finished because there'll still be work to do. So that's all I've been working on. Okay, let's just do one more thing. I have a giveaway. I had a viewer who contacted me and said that she had some lavender and lace patterns that she's decided that she would never be able to stitch, and she said, I'll give them to you. You can either keep them and stitch them yourself, or use them in a giveaway. And she sent me 3 patterns, and one of them I'm going to keep because I've always liked this one and would love to stitch it sometime. And that is, this is Oh Christmas Tree. This one is really pretty. And yeah, so, and then she gave me two that I am going to offer for a giveaway. The first one is Sound of the Forest. I actually have Sound of the Forest. And the other is, this is Morning Song. So if you would like one of these patterns, let's do a giveaway. If you would like to enter into the giveaway for Sound of the Forest, in the comments below, leave a comment and use the keyword Santa. And if you would like Morning Song, let's use the keyword morning. And we will do a giveaway in a couple of weeks to give these away. So thank you to my viewer for making these available. And I would love to give you the opportunity to have these patterns. Okay. Okay, that's about all that I have to share with you today. As always, if you want to, let's talk about my plans. Okay, this week is going to be Red House Sampler. And I'm going to work on Red House Sampler until it is finished. So I'm going to finish Red House Sampler. It might not be this week. It might be the beginning of next week, but we are finishing Red House Sampler. So that's my plans. Also, if you've been following me, you probably have been able to tell that I've been stressing over the number of projects that I've had and over how I'm going to get my project count down. And I have decided to kind of let that go. I've decided that the way that I'm stitching works because I have my focus piece, which is my oldest project, that I work till I get finished, and then I'm just going to work on everything else. I'm not going to worry about how many projects I have. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go willy-nilly and start a bunch of stuff, because what got me into the mess that I am in is I started a whole bunch of stuff at once, and they were big projects. So I have a whole bunch of big projects that are all at about the same point and have a whole bunch of stitching that need to be done. And they're just going, I'm going to work through, like I've been doing, my focus piece and then working through my rotation. And then I am going to, when I finish that focus piece, then we'll go to the next focus piece. And things are just going to have to kind of earn their way up into being the focus piece. And I'm just gonna deal with it. When I get through the end of my rotation, I am going to do another start. Hopefully I have really been fighting startitis. And I also made the mistake of trying to decide what I was going to stitch. So I've had decision fatigue and startitis, and it has made it so that I really have to push over a hump to actually start a new project every week, just because I'm tired of everything. So in order to fight my startitis, when I get to the end of a project, I'm going to do a new start. And in order to fight the decision fatigue, I'm just going to work through my rotation again. That's just the best way for me to work. The starts will be few and far between because I do have a lot of projects, and with the focus piece, it'll take a couple of months to work through all of my projects. That's fine, but I can tell myself I will be starting something. I have a lot of stuff. The other thing is that I have a lot of unfinished projects, unfinished business, I should say. And what I mean by that is I have a series that I've started. I've stitched the first one in the series, and I feel like I need to finish the series. So I'm also planning on starting the next design in the series. And I've already done that with Autumn Sampler. I have a drawn thread Autumn Garden that I need to start. And there's there's one of the Rosewood Manor seasonal Quakers also. So I've got things that I want to start just to get them going. I need to consider this series as, I think I need to consider the series as one whip, which means that I have whips that I haven't counted yet because they're not, I don't have them there. So that's the other thing that I'm kind of thinking. But I'm going to finish, I'm going out of rotation a little bit. I'm going to finish Red House Sampler, go back to Queen Anne's Lace for my focus. And then I have like 2 projects that I have not stitched on this last rotation. I will be stitching those. And then I think I'm going to pull out Memories of the Past once more because it was kind of started out of rotation. It'll be in rotation and then do another start. That's probably going to take me clear till the beginning of the year. So that's pretty long-term plans. But anyway, if you want to follow my progress, you can always follow me on Instagram. I am at blitstitch on Instagram. And you can see what I decide to do. I am planning on being a little bit more consistent with my videos. I think things have settled down enough that I can do that. I don't have as much coding on my app to distract me. And so I think I'm going to be able to stitch more, and things should settle down that I can film a little bit more regularly. As always, if you haven't, feel free to subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I post a new video. And also feel free to like this video. As always, I would love to hear from you and would be glad to answer any questions that you have for me. I hope that you have a great month, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.